Welcome to Proven. My name is Clay, and today I want to talk to you about storage cases and organizational solutions that we use inside of our expeditions, from macro on the big trucks all the way down to the smallest items in our systems. Everything that you do see is either in our trucks right now or has been used in our trucks in a proven way. So join me. We're going to step outside. We're going to start on the macro and work our way to the micro. Just remember, every truck comes with cubbies and storage spots. I highly recommend you use those first. Find a good use for those before you start going into other storage solutions. Maximize what's already there before you add on. So there's a lot of ways to skin this cat. Either you're going to build it, or you're going to buy it, or you're going to hodgepodge it, put it together, but these are the methods that we use. So let's first take a look at the PCore system. So this is the PCore. It's got a tray on the bottom, and then it's got a canopy on top that allows us to mount a tent on the roof, spare tire on the back, jerry cans on the back, and a propane tank on the back, all hard mounted, locked into a location. We never move them, never have to touch them unless we're going to get them. That is a principle that we always strive for. We don't want to be moving things to get to things. And if you can permanently give something a home, then you're winning. So that's why all that stuff lives on the back. It's nice to have a tent live on the top. Have a fridge mounted instead of a cooler that you got to move around to get to something. Yeah, so with that, we also want to give ourselves the most amount of efficiency by keeping things at an arm's reach, especially stuff that we use all the time. There's several examples of that here. This is our camera bay. They built in a power system right here that all of our chargers, etc., plug into, and we leave a little open spot right here all the time so that we can use a drawer to access a lot of random things, lenses, batteries, etc. Set them here. It goes away, work on a camera, out, down we go. It also creates good habits when you have things that you use on a regular basis placed in the right spot. For one, you're probably going to get it when you should, like that air down tool that sits in a doorway. When you know you should air down, you're going to air down because it's right there. Second, it's going to be easy to put it back into its home when you're done. If you got a deep six something, or it's always in the back and you got to go get it, more than likely you're not going to go through that time to put it all the way back in there. You're typically in a hurry of some kind, so you're going to end up just throwing it somewhere, and within a day or two your truck's going to be destroyed and you're going to have to do a full reset anyway. Now, we're not perfect. We absolutely still go through a lot of this stuff and have inefficiencies in our systems, either from being lazy or not thinking through something. It's normal, but man, we have come a long way in the 9 years that we've been doing this, and we really see the importance of figuring out these efficiencies. It's really a mindset that applies towards what you end up building first, and then you just got to go out and use it. So the PCore has been great. On the other side, they've applied a lot of the same principles towards the galley. The galley slides right out. The fridge is right there. These are things that you get into all the time. They're mounted, they work, they just operate. You don't have to maintain them all the time. They're in and they're out. That's a good system. That's what we're looking for. Next, let's take a look at the Tacoma and what we've done there. Goose Gear did a fabulous job of building us basically a cabinetry system that we can live out of like a camper in this vehicle. So we put in storage solutions, drawers, just like you would have at home, and we utilize them like that. This might have silverware in it, this might have these types of dishes, etc. Drawers are fabulous. When it came to this, we wanted access to a lot of the things that we would be using every day from inside the camper and outside. So we put hatches on the sides. This is prototype version 1 of the Habitat, and we put those latches on the side so we can get to the power station from the outside of the vehicle or from the inside if we're working inside. Access it from this side. Down below is a cubby for our sleeping bags. We know that every day with the habitat system that we need to pull our sleeping bags down and they got to go somewhere. So we built a dedicated cubby just for sleeping bags to go right at the bottom, stores, right back up to the bed when you get in camp. We also designed it so that if the whole truck is set up, these become seats, and then you can access inside the tops of the drawers when you're inside the camper at night. So if you need to get into something, you don't have to get out, open the tailgate to get something in there, at least on the top drawer. All different methods of thinking it through. Hopefully some of that will help you, especially if you're looking at building a camper. For demonstration purposes, we roughly set up the tent here because this is where I sleep on any given trip, and where we put our bags is on this side. Our sleeping bags, Rochelle and I, our clothing bags go here, sleeping bags and stuff go in here. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is that try to minimize your movements. At night when you get into camp, you set your tent up, all of your clothes are here. It goes into the bed, or you can change in the changing room, and then in the morning it all goes right back to here. You're not running around camp bringing this item to that truck and that truck back over to here to this tent. Try to decrease any of that movement, and what you can do is go camping and just pay attention. Write it down, like, I'm going to pay attention to these aspects of my camping trip, and see where you got a lot of wasted movement, and that's probably somewhere where you can gain efficiency through storage. I wanted to talk about roof rack systems. Roof rack systems are part of your organization, but you need to be careful on how you use them. You need to use them wisely. You've seen the videos where a guy just loads everything up on the top of the roof. It looks cool, it feels fun, it feels like you're out on an adventure, but it's really dangerous. We don't want to put too much weight on the top of our vehicles because it increases the height of the center of gravity, which makes you more prone to tip. Now on the trail and all that stuff, that can be a factor, but what about a high-speed defensive maneuver on the interstate where we spend a lot of our time? Think through that stuff. So what we do is we put a rooftop tent on there, which is plenty heavy in itself, and then beyond that, it's a set of max tracks and alu boxes. I like putting the max tracks out on the roof or on a back bumper because that is an item that we get at all the time. We may not be stuck all the time, but we use them for all kinds of things. They just get used all the time, and when you need them in a quick pinch, it's nice to that they are within an arm's reach to get to. You don't have to go to while you're stuck in the mud and the bog, you don't have to open your truck, go digging through a whole bunch of stuff to get your max tracks out. Now, beyond that, we do put alu boxes on the roof. The reason we put alu boxes on the roof is we store really light items up there, and alu boxes themselves are robust enough to live on the roof and light. They don't weigh hardly anything. And it allows us to have quick access to things that we want all the time. In expeditions past, each box was dedicated to an individual. It was like a foot locker. They could keep shoes in there, stinky stuff, or a jacket or a coat or some gloves or hats, whatever they needed on a regular basis, so they're not having to go inside of a vehicle, open the back swing outs, get into another bag, get into this, when it is something that you kind of like take off, put on, take off, put on. That's where these have really shown to be very effective on a roof rack. Plus, it's not adding any really significant weight to the roof. On this model in particular, Easyon just came out with the new quick releases for the alu boxes on the roof, which we've really enjoyed. It allows you, say when you get to camp, to flip a lever and remove an alu box. Now, if this is your gear at night, you can now set it on the ground, work on it, work out of it, and then by the next day you can place it back up there, lock it back on, and off you go. If it's clothes or whatever it is and you want it to go inside the hotel that night, it's easy to come off and goes in the room with you. So that's how we use the roof racks for organization. Be thoughtful about how you do it too, and make sure you just don't overload them. Okay, coming back in, let's dive into hard cases versus soft cases and how we utilize their different advantages and avoid their disadvantages. First off, let's go with hard cases. So let's break it down simply. We use Pelican cases or Nanook cases, whatever it is, this type of protection for typically electronics or sensitive equipment. Everything else doesn't go into one of these types of cases. It goes into an ultralight case for storage. The reason we like them so much is that they're aluminum. They do a lot for us in the way that we need them to work for us and nothing more. So inside they have a rubber gasket on them. They're light, they got the nice straps that hold the lid open or from flopping everywhere. Really simple buckles and then stackable feet, so when you have multiple in sizes or even compatible sizes, they lock in place when you stack them inside of a truck, etc. Before alu boxes, we used ammo cans, and I still have a bunch of those around. That's what the military uses for the same reasons. It's not looking for crush proofness and like really, they're hauling around ammunition and things like that. It just needs to stack and store well and keep it relatively sealed from the elements. That's what an alu box does, but it's absolutely ultra light. It weighs nothing. This is full of equipment right now, but this is so light. On top of that, when you're not looking to have a case have all that protection built into it, like crush proof and all that, it takes a lot of the weight and the engineering out of a box. If you were to look at this case, and just as it pertains to storage, like you want to store chips or food or whatever in this as a dry box, they are bulky. A lot of times inside on certain cases you'll see ribbing inside for strength. On the outside they've built these big seals all the way around. So what you need to look at is that this is actually the outer diameter of the box. And you don't actually get into the inside diameter of a box. I mean, look how thick that wall is, essentially, before you get to the inside space. Compared to an alu box or even an ammo can that is perfectly thin, that's the wall that we're talking about. So if you use this a bunch of those to do what these cases do, what you're going to start finding is when you stack them next to each other, you have this humongous waste of space because that doubles on the next case. So now all of a sudden you have a gap between two cases this thick that isn't usable for anything. It's dead air space. And when you're looking at an overland vehicle, we want to keep them as clean as possible. And so you want to keep your stuff compact as possible. And when your cases don't even allow for that, everything just starts to grow, starts to get bigger. So we use alu boxes for storage, all kinds of loose items. We even put other stuff, other storage items inside of alu boxes. If you do need to use them as a pseudo-protective case, there's a company out there called Trek Pack that you can build out the inside with. You can also use old Pelican foam or something from that and put it in there. It just depends. But yeah, that's how we utilize that. So let's talk about soft bags. We use soft bags all the time as well. Soft bags have some advantages that these don't provide. For one, they break down. When you're done using them, they go away. They fold flat, they're out of the way. Second, they are soft, which gives them a better reason to be inside of a cab. So in the front of a vehicle, in the vehicle with you, we like to use soft bags versus hard. In the event of an accident, if it's not loaded and lashed properly, you don't have this heavy metal projectile flying around the vehicle with you. You at least have something soft that's in the truck. Hopefully would do less damage. The other thing is the soft bags provide more protection when it comes to your interior. Running hard cases inside of vehicles is really hard on them. If you run them for long enough, the metal on the side and the plastics on the side rub on your plastics inside the vehicle, and they just start to look worn really fast. We use Red Ox bags out of Billings, Montana, my hometown. We use bags that are within the carry-on requirements, and we are able to live out of one of these bags for up to 6 weeks on a trip out of one carry-on bag. The other thing we do when it comes to that personal items is that we standardize the bag size. Every crew member, this is Tanner's in particular, every crew member gets a bag, and he is allowed to fill it with whatever he wants other than his required stuff, clothes, you know, whatever. But if he wants certain specialty items, if it fits in here, if it fits, it ships, to use the adage. So these are really great. Another thing to look for in soft bags is the ability to contain the handles and remove straps. That's key. We always take, you know, keep things together. We take the shoulder straps off, typically. They're nice to fly with if you're going to a bag or going on a trip. Use your shoulder strap, but then once they get into the trip, we always remove the shoulder straps, tuck them inside the bag on the side. And then this bag just became a whole lot cleaner to work with, especially 6, 8 of them, moving them around. You don't have all these straps that are always hanging up on stuff. I really like this model. I'll post the model below because it has a grab handle on the back. So when it's up on something and you reach in, you can grab it and just pull it out. These have been excellent bags, and they've stood the test of time. Inside these bags are more bags. The Russian doll effect of organization. So inside here, Tanner is using the packing cubes from Red Ox. There's a bunch of these. We have all kinds of different sizes. You've seen it in some other videos of ours. That just keeps the internal bag organized. And what it allows you to do is keep that that quick efficiency inside your bag. So like if this is all pants, the next one will be all shirts. So I want my shirts bag, you pull that out, this one goes right back in, work on your shirts, and you put it right back. They're excellent. They're well worth the money. The efficiency that you get out of it and the ease of, instead of rummaging through things and moving this and eventually your bag just gets destroyed. This keeps your life organized. Then everything else, we use DACA pouches. This is Tanner's toiletry bag. We use DACA pouches for just about everything in between. If you don't know where to put it, there's a DACA pouch waiting for it. We just use them for so many things. We have so many of these. One of the benefits of being sponsored, but these are a fantastic item. Incredibly tough, well made, mostly waterproof. I mean, for anything in travel, this is more than sufficient. And they have now released all of the DACAs with the windows in them, and that changed the game for me on these. I like them the other way too, but man, being able to see what's inside is huge. You're like, oh no, that's not the one I want. Or I'm looking for this medication. Looks like, yep, that's it right there. It just saves all the time. If you think that, man, that just sounds like it's overthinking it, maybe on a weekend trip, this is overthinking it. When you get into 10 days, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 days, all of this stuff really starts to matter. Doesn't take long. Really about 10 days in is like the magic number. Right around 10 days, if your bag's not organized and this isn't set up right and you can't find stuff and you're always digging through this to get to that, you're going to go insane. It's going to start driving you nuts. Some people can tolerate it longer than others, but eventually people simplify and organize again. Magpul also just released their DACA case, and they originally designed these for their sunglasses. Their sunglasses fit in these. It's like the best sunglass case I've ever had. It doesn't crush, and it's easy. It's not zippers. These just work really, really well. Made of their polymer stuff, same that their magazines are made from. So now they've released them as just a storage case. What's awesome is that they fit inside cup holders. And in bottle locations, like on the side of doors, we have, each one of us on our flight vests have these, so we can pop a camera into it and easily get it out, film with it, pop it back down, latch it. We were finding a lot of great uses for that DACA can, little micro hard case. So check that stuff out. I know that there are all kinds of other ways to organize a vehicle, but this right here, what we've talked about today, is how and what we are using inside of our vehicles. All of this stuff right here came out of our trucks from the last expedition 2 weeks ago. So, hope that helps. Thanks for watching Proven. Please comment below. I want to hear anything you got that can make my life better when it comes to organization. Can't wait to hear what you got. Keep it civil, and we'll see you on the next one.